Jess, can you give us a recap?
So, from the start of last week's episode, Anya told Eartha and Samu-Ra about Nancene's key that she had seen around her neck at the Eomin house party, and whether it could be one of the 7 keys that was earlier talked about, but there wasn't enough evidence as to whether that was one of the 7 keys. So we all got in our cart and horses for our journey to travel to the Tempest Tears Temple for Eartha's task. The journey would be about 5 days. So we'd been on the road for about 6 hours, and Anya recognises the distant noises of a water Davian noble on the side of the road, currently and digging dirt looking for something. To which they find a necklace worth about 2,500 gold pieces. Eartha uses the sleep spell to retrieve the necklace from the water Davian noble, while the noble was unconscious.
A noble thing he did.
A very noble thing. We travel on the second day and come across a priest of Hillmatter who blesses us for the journey ahead. On day 3, we come across a female Amnian who's on the side of the road also, and she digs up a spell scroll which grants a spell to dominate the monster, and then Eartha again uses the sleep spell to take it off her, essentially.
It's a lot of lucky rolls, that's it.
Day 4, nothing happens during the day, although on the night we bump into a group of 6 armoured men and women of all races. One of the men comes up to the horses and asks us to pay a fee of 30 gold pieces to him in order to access the road further. I don't think we did pay him 30 gold pieces. I think we paid him a smaller amount.
Yeah, they bluffed pretty well.
Yeah, we haggled our way past.
Mm-hmm.
We continue on to day 5, which is the last day of our journey, where we come to a foggy area. It's kind of like a dome shape of fog that looks sort of like a wall blocking the road. Samu-Ra talks to, I can't remember how you pronounce that name, Faust?
Force, but yeah, Faust works. Yeah.
Force. So he talks to Faust through the sending stone to see whether the wall is safe. We travel through the fog, and all around us we see crumbled walls along the roadside. There's a ruined city beyond the fog, where there's a clear road, but it's very still and it's very quiet. It's very eerie. It doesn't seem like it's that quiet once you go further. But we assume this to be Skuldask. Anya thinks she sees stuff in the corner of her eye. She has a sense that there is something lurking in the city. We ride on for 10 minutes and arrive at a junction. We see an obelisk to the east corner of the Skuldask Road, and the obelisk has writing on it. We trot slowly through the intersection, and we see a monolith standing stone, which has the words, "Let tempest cry bitter tears." I didn't get the whole inscription, but I think that was the last sentence of the inscription.
That's kind of what the area is named after, so it's probably the most important line.
So that was written on the monolith with a bunch of other words referencing to there once being peace in the city until they were driven into fear. There are many ruined walls and buildings surrounding us, and then the horses start to get a bit skittish. We begin to hear a growling sound, which has then appeared to be a displacer beast. It has is it illusory? I don't know how you pronounce that word.
It's like illusory. It's like it kind
illusory,
of like flickered in place. Like if you try to hit it, you might not exactly meet it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like it displaced its own image.
Yeah, it's like a big cat but with 2 tentacles and 4 legs.
Yeah, gross looking thing.
So then we get into combat with this displacer beast and we defeat the beast. And then we haul the body of the displacer beast onto the cart because it would be useful for future selling.
I think in the end, I think you just I think because you didn't want to. I don't think there was enough room on it on the cart at the end. So I think Eartha, you just decided to skin it, didn't you?
Put the hide in the bag of holding.
It's in the bag of holding. Good, yeah. Because
Okay,
Samuel
yeah.
Ra knew something he could do with it. But yeah, perfect.
Yeah, we skinned it. And then Samuel Ra starts to wander curiously into the mist. And then he comes back for some rope and then goes back out again. And then Eartha tells Anya to hold the other end of the rope to follow Samuel Ra, while Eartha ties the horses and cart to a post, just so that the horses don't run off. Anya and Samuel Ra come across an island in the middle. We all head to the lake, where the water is quite still and isolated, with no stream entering the water. And it also looks like there's no sign of life in the water, because there's no flow of water at all. It's just still. The ruins of the temple are on the island in the lake. They're covered in swords bludgeoned into the ground. Samuel Ra starts to feel a connection to the water and senses something drawing to him. He flies just above the water to get a better view, and he hears something calling to him and telling him to basically keep his thoughts to himself, or she will know, or she will see. Eartha inspects the water, which is very mirrory. He discovers that the water is quite shallow and decides to cross the water by foot to the island. Then Samuel Ra flies back to land where Anya is, and then suddenly they both feel a huge breeze fly past them and a dark shadow above them. Samuel Ra flies both himself and Anya to the island, and then we start to hear quite a loud, deep, dark voice utter, "Who do I owe the pleasure?" which is mainly directed to Eartha, because he's the reason why we've gone to the island. We sense this voice close to us, and we start to see a shadow to the left of us in the shape of a gargantuan. Samuel Ra flies back over the water because he starts to feel a stronger force to the water, and ends up talking to an object in the water, which continues to tell him to be quiet or she will see, possibly meaning the she is the voice we can hear from the shadow. Samuel Ra dives into the water to retrieve the object, and then going back to the shadow, who continues to speak, saying, "A child of strategy," to Eartha, followed by, "You are done, now your gift," to which Eartha bludgeons his sword into the ground of the temple on the island in the middle of the lake. Samuel Ra picks up a stone that he feels a strong connection to, almost like a source of energy. Eartha begins to see a clearer view of the mysterious creature beyond the shadow and the voice. He starts to see the form of a dragon with purple scales and purple reddish eyes, possibly an amethyst dragon, towering over him. However, it disappears with no intention of hurting Eartha. Anya and Eartha walk back through the lake to the land. With a sense of being watched, and Samuel Ra follows too. We hear the crumbling of buildings and head back to the horse and cart and decide to travel north to either Subar to meet Eartha's brother, or Boriskia Bridge, where we are to meet Damon, but he doesn't know that yet. And then that's it.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you very much. I want to give you guys first each an initiative. I don't have it exactly written down, but there is inspiration. Yes, thank you. Too many eyes in this game. I don't have them in front of me. They're over there. The only one that I specifically remember was Ellis. You knew to sacrifice your sword without you didn't try to bargain for it. You just did it. So that's the only one I remember. But I had one written down for each of you. So if you each write down inspiration. Before we pick up where we left off, you guys. You don't have to strictly, in-game, you don't have to know this right now, but just out of game, we need to decide whether you're going to, if you were to look on a map of the region you're in, so Tempest's Tears, which you're just outside of the mist wall that surrounds it on the opposite end from which you came through. But Tempest's Tears is at the intersection of Thundar's Ride and the Skuldask Road. You're now travelling up. You're basically going to the northernmost point of Thundar's Ride. Thundar's Ride connects two main roads. So you're going to this new main road that you haven't been on before. Subar is kind of southeast, and Boruskia Bridge is kind of northwest. Both are kind of equidistant, like one's not much further than the other. But if you go to, obviously, Boruskia Bridge, you have a time limit, which you might not necessarily want to meet because you don't know what you're going to find there. You don't know if it's going to be out of your capabilities, or you don't know if it's just better to get this out of the way. But if you go to Subar first, looking at the map and kind of knowing the distance, you would probably know you're not going to be able to make it to Boruskia Bridge in time for the midnight deadline on Alturiak 23. But you could go there afterwards if you wanted to. You're not even sure. You're not even sure where this Damon person's coming from. They might be coming through Subar, or they might be coming from the north, or they might go to Subar afterwards, or they might be heading to Baldur's Gate or going back north. You're not really sure. But yeah, so you guys need to decide whether you want to go to Boruskia Bridge to try and do anything about this handoff, which was supposed to be the three of you enslaved, captured, and handed off by some drow to this Daemon, Strife Leader Daemon, third keysman of Cyric, or whether you want to just push that aside for now and keep heading to Subar. So I'll let you guys discuss. It doesn't necessarily have to be in character, because you guys might not decide this for in-game for a few more days until you actually get to the point where you have to go left or right. But yeah, which direction would you... we'll just go around and say what each of us thinks. So Ellis, what do you think?
I feel like Eartha would more than likely want to take a peek at who we're going against, and then not even try to get close, just see who it is so he can recognize the face, and then just tail it back to Subar rather than even go near him. Yeah,
Samurai probably will just agree with the party, because he's probably too enthralled with this stone to care about that decision right now. He'll just do whatever the party does.
Cool. Yeah. Anya, Jess, what does Anya think?
Anya will be... She doesn't want to let another opportunity pass, especially if she has kind of a gut feeling that the key she saw around Nancy's neck could be one of the keys. So I think she would want to seize this opportunity to possibly see who this Damon character is and possibly, fingers crossed, be able to retrieve the key.
Cool. Yeah, cool. So I'll tell you kind of the information on traveling from where you're at right now to Boruskia Bridge. So if you were to move at a slow pace, you would be able to use stealth. So you wouldn't necessarily... You would basically... If something tried to ambush you or try to get a surprise on you, you would be able to kind of maybe avoid that. If you traveled at a slow pace, you'd be going 18 miles per day, but it would take that would take 5.5 days to get there, which I don't think we'll go through the calendar. So currently it is Alturiak 19. You've got all of the travel paces have a half day just because of the distance, but this today will count as a half day, like the rest of today traveling. But you need to get there in 1, 2, 3, and the night of the 4th. So you have 4.5 days is the maximum. So you couldn't travel at slow pace if you want to get there in time. But normal pace is 24 miles a day. That's 4 and a bit, so not quite 4.5. So you'd get there a few hours before midnight, and you could try and maybe just keep a distance, whatever. That would have no effect. So you wouldn't necessarily have advantage on someone trying to ambush you or anything like that, but you wouldn't have disadvantage either, just kind of straight down the middle. You can go to fast pace, which would get you 30 miles a day. That would take 3 and a bit days, so about 3 days and a quarter day, a third of a day. That would have -5 on perception, so you'd kind of be liable to getting ambushed, kind of things sneaking up on you, things following you without you realizing. What are we thinking? Do you want to go at normal or fast pace if you guys are trying to get there in time for this secret meeting?
Normal's probably the better option.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be able to... Well, I'll hopefully be able to spot anything that does try to sneak up on us.
Yeah.
So you're going to go at normal pace. So hopefully, unless anything major happens, you would get there about, we'll say, you'll be arriving at Boruskia Bridge kind of with 3 to 4 hours before midnight, so you'd have a little bit of time to kind of get ready and figure out what you're actually going to do. Cool. So let's do that. So I believe where we left off. Well, actually, how do we want to? So Eartha, do you want to be reining the horses again? Do you want to be in charge of driving again?
I mean,
There's not really much to it because it's just a straight road. It's just kind of sitting in the
I'll ask the
driver's
others
seat.
first if any of them want to drive. If not, I want to pull out a spear from the bag of holding, as that is going to be my weapon up until I can get a new longsword.
Yes, fair enough. I imagine, Samurai, you're pretty taken with this stone at the minute. So Anya, are you interested in driving or?
I'll drive if either I can drive with someone else or I can drive on my own.
We'll just say you and Eartha are up front because they're still like if you're sitting in the front, you don't necessarily have to be driving. And the driving isn't necessarily intense because, like I say, it's just backwards and forwards. It's just a straight road, so the horses can kind of they know what they're supposed to do. It's just kind of like spurring them on every once in a while and making sure they're not distracted or anything, or like getting unrestful, anything like that. So we'll pick up where we left off. Samurai, I believe you said something to the effect you are talking to the stone that speaks, this kind of mundane-looking rock that you'd been told to look out for in Tempest's Tears. You'd essentially managed to snatch it at the correct moment from the lake bed when the dragon was distracted talking to Eartha. Kind of the moment when Eartha plunged his sword into the ground, you kind of dipped your hand into the water and picked it out. And as far as you were aware, were not detected doing so. And I believe you said something to the effect you figured out, or you kind of started to feel that because you're holding the stone, you kind of, and you're both connected to the force of magic, the weave. You can kind of feel, as you guys mentioned, that you would have to pass back through Tempest's Tears. I don't necessarily have to. One of the ways you could go, probably the fastest way you could go, is passing back through Tempest's Tears. The stone felt very anxious about that, or the soul in the stone felt very anxious about that and was not pleased with that. Didn't necessarily say anything to you. You just felt like an anxiety from that. So we'll pick up there.
Right, I'll line the back of the cart then, and obviously I'm speaking like through my mind, aren't I? I don't have to speak out loud.
Every time you've spoken telepathically, you haven't heard a response, so you're not sure.
Okay, I'll try and speak telepathically. I'll something to the effects of, why should I help you?
You don't hear a response.
Okay, I'll say it again, but out loud.
Yep. So you guys, Anya and Eartha, sitting in the front, probably just like, today it's for the first time in this campaign, but like for the first time in like even longer in game terms, it's the first kind of not warm day, but like it's not bitter either. It's kind of this almost warm because you've been so used to like a few months of kind of bitter cold. But now it's actually starting to, like, you're in the middle of like these rolling hills. Obviously, there's quite a lot of undead just under the surface, but like you can't see most of that. So it's not necessarily, you just kind of got this vast blue sky, these nice clouds, these thick clouds, these rolling hills all around you, just the one straight path, the road behind, in front of you and behind you. And yeah, it's just a kind of nice day comparatively. The horses are in good spirits. So you guys are probably just having a polite conversation when you hear from behind you. You hear Samurai kind of looking in the stone, starts speaking to the stone. Samurai, you hear this telepathically, so you guys don't hear this response. So remind me, you said, why shouldn't I take you back? Is that what you were asking?
I just said, why should I help you?
Why should I help you? You hear this in response. I'll stop doing the voice because every time I try to do a voice, my headset cuts it out. So he essentially says, and this is a male voice, sounds old, sounds almost not withered, just sounds kind of old and kind of not desperate, but determined almost. kind of a little bit like croaky, like the voice is going a bit. He says, you shouldn't, unless, of course, you value arcane knowledge lost to time and limitless power, the likes of which you've never seen. And then there's kind of a moment of silence, and then he comes back through. Do you value such things?
I don't need your help with limitless power. I've got my father for that.
You don't hear anything. You just feel. You feel like a kind of like a jovial, almost like kind of whatever emotion you would link with laughter. You kind of feel that coming from the stone. Well, not mocking. He believes you believe it. You think he just doesn't believe it. Just like you feel not mocking, but just kind of this like a polite chuckle. You feel that. You don't hear it, but you like feel that energy passing through you.
What sort of power are you on about anyway?
There's a moment of silence. And then a few more beats of silence. You kind of just feel like this. If I was to link it with an emotion, kind of this scoff, kind of like still that laughter, but kind of just one like, and then you hear anything.
I'm gonna try and I want to figure out what this guy's like best spell is. So I'm gonna what is your grand achievement? Your highest level of craft, the best you've ever cast.
You just feel like this kind of confusion, I'll say, kind of like that's a strange question. He'll say again, this is in my voice, just so because I don't want my headphones to keep cutting it out. But in that same kind of croaky older voice, kind of says, "I am Netheril. I am Netherese. Does that mean anything to you? Make a up to you, depending on what you want out of that. You can either make a history check or an arcana check."
Sorry, I'm just writing down Netherese. You said history or arcana, didn't you?
Yeah, depending on what kind of information you want to get. Like, I'll let you choose what I mean, actually, to be fair, just make a history check. I'll say with advantage because of your arcane training.
I'm gonna use an inspiration.
Get them while they're hot.
It's 19.
19. Okay, yeah, you're very familiar with Netheril. With the Netherese. The Netheril was the name of an ancient empire, and Netherese. So you got like the Empire of Rome and Romans, the Empire of Netheril and the Netherese were this empire of super-powered wizards and sorcerers. They didn't invent magic, but they might as well have. They lived all over this continent, and the most powerful among them, like the people that were gifted with magic, they lived in flying cities that kind of hovered off the ground, and then all the people that were kind of poor and weren't able to use magic lived kind of in the shadow of those floating cities on the ground. In fact, they became so powerful, the Netherese, that their emperor, kind of the emperor figure, probably maybe the most powerful spellcaster that's ever been born, Cyricist. There was a major event, and this was the end of the empire, called Cyricist's Folly. And it's essentially Cyricist and most of the Netherese decided that they were more powerful than gods. They had achieved more than gods, they were capable of more than gods, and that the gods were a challenge to their own power. So Cyricist, along with other Netheril archmages, cast a spell to try and kill all the gods, specifically focusing on the goddess of magic, trying to specifically take magic for himself, take control of the weave. The weave is essentially, just for frame of reference, is this kind of blanket that lies over the world, like imagine it like an invisible blanket, and it's kind of where all magic comes from. So if you're able to cast magic, you're able to like knit the weave. That's kind of the metaphor. And so there could be places where the weave has been teared and there's no magic there, torn. Sorry. And yeah, so like last week when you felt the tugging from the stone, it was kind of like this Netherese pulling on the weave, pulling at you because you're sensitive to the weave and you can feel it. So yeah, so you're quite aware of this event, Carsus's Folly, because this like super mega pissed off the gods. The gods did not like it, and because there was no rules to magic at this point. Flying cities, that's something you're not aware of a flying city on this earth, like at all. The gods got so pissed off when Carsus and his lackeys tried to kill them that they destroyed everything. All of these floating cities went crashing into the ground, just complete destruction of the Netherese Empire. Like a pocket of the two pockets of the Netherese Empire survived, or the Netheril Empire. Sorry, those words are so similar. Some of like the less evil guys went far to the south and formed a country called Halrua, which is still around today. In fact, I'll say just from context, you would know Rivellin is actually Halruin. So he's like a long descendant of those original founders. So they're but then quite recently, about 5 years ago, in current time, so this kind of it was called the Enclave of Shade, or the City of Shade. One of these floating cities before the downfall of the Netheril Empire had been lost in the Shadowfell, in this shadow dimension, and a few years ago it actually came back into the material plane and caused a lot of destruction. But it was, again, about 5 years ago from the current year, it crashed. It was defeated by a mixture of, I think it was Cormyran armies and Sembian armies. So a lot of the countries around where it was flying in the air kind of gathered together and fought against it, and it crashed into Cormanthor in the Dale Lands, which is essentially this massive forest, kind of the elven homeland where all the elves came from. Just this huge forest. It kind of crashed into this place called Mithranor, which is like the original elven capital, and all of it was destroyed in the process. So yeah, back when, like I was saying, back when the Netheril walked or flowed on this earth, 9th level spells were not the cap. I believe the cap was technically, in our jargon, in our game terms, 12th level spells that could potentially kill gods, spells that could move mountains, massive spells like this. And you kind of, when he says, I am Netheril, does this mean anything to you? That does mean something to you. If he's being honest, he is one of these, kind of like the Enclave of Shade, he is one of these remnant figures that the gods didn't necessarily know this one guy was trapped in a stone. So he's like a remnant of a completely, you couldn't even, like, there's no magic. The magic that he was able to, or he might have been able to use, or certainly his peers were able to use when he was flesh, not just trapped in the stone. Even what's the highest level spell you can cast currently? 2nd level.
Yeah.
Even if you were to train to mastery to become the most powerful archmage in the world, you wouldn't be able to cast spells as powerful as people were casting in his day. There are limits to magic. There are rules to magic now, because the gods got uber mega pissed that people took the piss with the lack of rules. So yeah, that history lesson is what you runs through your head when he says, I am Netheril. Does this mean anything to
you? Okay. So
you can ask me if you have any more specific, like if you have a more specific question. That was a good history check, so you can ask it if you want. But yeah.
I'm alright for now. I'm just gonna try and figure out more about this guy himself.
Yeah.
So before you were put in the stone, what was the world like?
There's a moment. I don't understand the question. I don't know what the world is like now. I haven't been out of that damned fog in years.
It may have been more than a couple years.
I can sense time passing. I am... What... I'll say, because you're holding the stone, even if he stops himself from saying something, you kind of get the gist of where he was going. You sense the person in the stone is highly intelligent, like very calculating, very cunning, very intelligent. You sense he was going to ask you, what year is it? And then even before he got there, he realized the way, like the calendar that is commonly used is probably a different calendar to what he used. And so he just stops himself. Like he has multiple conversations running through his head before he even finishes it. And then he just kind of goes silent for a minute.
Your entire empire fell from the sky.
You feel that chuckle again, not like the scoff, actually kind of like the scoff, but not directed at you, kind of just to the universe, and
do I think he?
Yeah.
Do I think he believes me?
I think I don't necessarily want to make you roll for it, because I think holding the stone, you're so connected right now. You have power over him in this because you're holding the stone. You feel like that information doesn't even really surprise him. You're not entirely sure how long he's been, like, you don't know if he's been removed from that city, or like you're not sure if that's where you're not sure if that's where he became this stone. You're not sure if that's like if he's been out of the city before that. You're not sure, but obviously he's also incredibly old. You don't know how much memory he even has, or if he even remembers a lot of things. And so you just get the sense that he's not surprised. That's
right.
Sense.
I'll go with. Were you aware of a man called Office?
Say that again, sorry?
I'm asking him, is he aware of a man called Carthus? That is the right name, isn't it? The guy who tried to kill all the gods.
Carthus.
Okay, sorry. Okay, Carthus.
No, it's alright. It's alright. I just couldn't tell if the mic was cutting out when I was hearing something different. Yeah. You feel just like this unclear, and he goes like, I can't remember.
He was a leader of the whole empire, and he tried to kill the gods using them sorts of spells you're on about, and well, it didn't work. The gods threw your cities from the sky straight down to the floor.
You sense this sharp, like not like a pain, but like this almost the feeling when I'll say like a direction, but he obviously isn't giving you that direction. You're just receiving the feeling you might feel if he was to give you that direction. It's almost he's held up a finger to you. It'd be like, stop speaking. And he starts like, none of that matters. None of that matters. There's only one thing that matters to me right now, and that is getting out of this damned rock, and I will give you anything for help.
I was actually sent here to collect you, take you back to a more powerful mage, to be honest.
You feel this sneer, like this kind of, it feels very malicious. I mean, you will know the Netheril, except for that kind of group that went south and became Halrua, most of the Netheril were very, very evil, very like tyrants, despots, overlords, abused the land, that kind of thing, abused their people, so on and so forth. You feel like this, he is very pleased to hear you say that.
Will you be happy to be handed over to someone else?
Are you? And he kind of stops himself again, and he says, Tell me about this wizard you speak of.
An elven man. He's trained in both magic and trained in weaponry too. Master of both crafts.
The satisfaction. Is he an archmage? Does he tend to the court? Is he the most powerful spellcaster in this region? Is he some sort of... Is he the... And there's like a frustration, like he's trying to figure out his words, and he just doesn't... Like, he is acknowledging without knowing that your world probably looks quite different than his did. And he's like trying to figure out a way to say it that you would understand. And is he the... And he just comes out with that word again. Archmage. You would know archmages are like the most powerful wizards around. So like an archmage would probably be like Waterdeep has an archmage called the Blackstaff. Like cities have an archmage. Like there might be more than one archmage in a city, but most cities usually have an archmage that serves the city as like the city's archmage. Like the city might have a ruler. It also has an archmage that informs on all magical matters and stuff like that. There's also other archmages. You'd probably know a few. Tasha, from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. Elminster. Elminster is kind of like the chosen of Mystra. Mystra is the goddess of magic. He's another archmage. So archmages are very powerful. Not like it, but it's more of a title. So like there are archmages that are significantly weaker than like Elminster, because Elminster is the chosen of the goddess of magic. So there are archmages that are a lot less powerful than like Elminster is. But yeah, Forst might technically count as an archmage as far as you're aware, but you don't think whatever machination this thing is coming up with, you don't think Forst would necessarily meet the criteria based on what he's asking you.
I don't know anyone with the title of Archmage personally. I know of some, but none on a true level.
You feel, as you've been kind of, not spying, but like, you know, like surgery. You know when someone's like a doctor cuts into someone and they can see their body, like their parts moving? That's what you've been doing, like, mentally to this thing. Not like, emotionally. You've been openly reading this thing's feelings. And you feel this, like, pervasiveness as it does the same to you. And it's a cold feeling. You do not like it. And you feel like this, not, kind of like almost satisfaction come from it. You have potential, great potential, I think. But I could make you so much more if you would just help me.
I guess I can try, but in the meantime, I have a couple things I'm working on. I could surely use your knowledge.
Such as?
I'm actually working on some spells for me. I got some items I want to try and enchant later down the line. I'm sure you obviously must know more than me.
You get that confusion again, that confusion from that feeling, and then whatever feeling you would correspond with, you know when you connect two things together independently, like you hear about one thing and then later you hear about another thing, and the two suddenly connect, and you're like, oh, okay, that they connect. You kind of get that feeling, mixed in with that confusion, and just a voice back. Ugh. I cannot do much in my current form, but I can try.
Well, as long as you can access your own memory, your brain, I'm sure you'll be useful enough for now.
You feel a disappointment in there. You don't. You feel like this guy has forgotten a lot. And then you suddenly, almost like, when like you think of something inappropriate and you're like, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it, and then you accidentally say it because you're telling yourself not to say it. You just get this idea cross your mind, and you think it probably originated from the stone in that sense where he's like, don't mention this, don't mention this, don't mention this. You just get this urge to ask him his name.
If you don't mind me asking, obviously you've been in there a while. And if we're gonna be, acquaintances, even friends for a little while, I'm Samurai. What's your name?
You feel just this wave of embarrassment wash from the stone into you, and then a few moments of silence, and he just says, "It is hardly important what my name is. I am the stone that speaks, and if you help me, I will help you in turn."
Well, the stone that speaks is rather long, so I'm just
Make a persuasion check.
gonna... 16.
As you're kind of like finishing that sentence, he just goes, "I don't remember. It's..." And he kind of senses the irony, and he says, "Foggy."
Well, as I said, it's a pretty long nickname, so I'm just gonna call you Wade.
Fine. Whatever works for you.
Yes,
You
Ellis, I'm
feel
playing.
as Jade kind of swivels a helmet a little bit towards you, and then swivels it back.
We're gonna name as many things with the ADE as we can.
Yeah, you feel this kind of... Do you have anything else to ask it, or anything else you want to say to it?
Yes, but I need to turn to Ufa first and ask him something.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll pop my head over. Ufa, your shield.
My what now?
Your shield. And I'll put my hand out.
I'm not gonna lose this too, am I? I'm already losing, dealing with a
No,
loss of my sword.
You'll get it back, I promise.
Intact?
Yes, well, I can't promise, but I'll try.
I'm gonna take it off and just kind of look at it for a good 5 minutes before I give it to him, and just kind of give it
just to describe it, because I don't think we've ever actually described it. So your shield, as far as my memory goes, correct me if I'm wrong. So it's kind of like a kite shield, mostly painted white, except kind of taking up the main body is I imagine a symbol of the Red Knight that you or your family has painted on yourself.
Yeah.
So there's probably a few chips in it, but you probably try and keep it tidy, presentable. So yeah,
So
he hands you the shield.
Give it one final stroke and just hand it over.
I'll duck down, and then I'll go. I'll just place it down and sit cross-legged, and I'll hold the stone up. And I'll go, all right, Wade. I'm worried about my friend. He kind of likes to stand in front of people when he's fighting. He doesn't use magic like me and you. I want to enchant his shield with the shield spell. Can you help me speed up the process, or help me do it?
You get this similar foggy sense, and he's like, I am unclear on the naming of the spell, but I think I understand the concept. Would you like him to be harder to touch, or to cast some sort of shield spell?
To cast some sort of shield spell, so...
That will be more difficult, but I think I can probably assist with some of the writing of the spell, but not much more.
Yeah, it's just whatever. I'm appreciative of all help.
He says, well, first, I will tell you what I need of you. You get this this nervousness, kind of like worried you're just gonna hear this and then flat out refuse. And he kind of goes on. You, as I said, I feel you have potential, and I am not insulting you, that potential has not yet been realized. I can feel that you are young. It is not your fault. If anything, it is impressive that you are as strong as I feel that you are, but you are still not strong. The ritual to restore me to flesh is perhaps on the periphery of possibility for someone at your ability. You must render a male archmage unconscious in the seal of their power. For most in my time, it would be their laboratory at the peak of their tower. I'm not sure if the practice is still the same. Render them unconscious there, slit their hand so that they bleed, and place this stone into their hand, and then their arm onto their chest so that I might possess their body. And then, I imagine, since they will be powerful, I will spend an eternity wrestling with their consciousness, but at least I will be flesh. Do you agree to these terms?
I may need a lot more time than you think. I don't think I'm anywhere close.
Like you feel like a chuckle, and he's like, ugh, the only thing I remember anymore is patience.
If you give me time, I'm sure there'll be one out there.
I'm sure there will. And you kind of feel like this. Kind of like almost the first time he's like relaxed in a long time. Kind of like he's been waiting. Like, well, you know, the actual fall of the Empire was roughly 2,000 years ago. So he's at least 2,000 years old, if not a wizard from earlier in the Empire who got trapped in this stone. And he seems to just have forgotten a lot of that time. He's still, like, it's kind of like he's lost the part of his memory, like the personal part of his memory, from what you can gather, but he's maintained, like, the informational part of his memory. And there's just a satisfaction there, like, finally, someone who's maybe willing to, like, you get the sense this is already the closest he's come in, at least, like, a few thousand years. So he's quite happy with your answer.
Yeah, I'm just going to spend that time with him starting to trying to imbue the shield spell onto Ellis's shield.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so basically you're trying to cast a shield spell, so as a reaction, once it's enchanted as a reaction, you'd be able to, Ellis would be able to
gain +5 AC.
Yeah, I think a spectral shield appears that blocks it in game terms. So yes, so we'll go over the specifics of that, because that'll obviously take a while to make. But yeah, he'll spend like the day helping you with the wording, like as you have to like write down the equations and the incantations on paper and then transfer them into practicality. He kind of helps you with the wording and cutting out unnecessary material component loss, stuff like that. But yeah, you can take the reduced cost. Does anyone have anything more specific that they'd like to complete today or tonight? Like, does anyone have any conversations they'd like to have, or any things they would like to read or accomplish or do before we do tomorrow's random encounter? Ellis, you got anything?
Not that I can think of, no.
Cool. Jess, you got anything?
No.
Yeah, no worries. Jackson, is there anything else, or are you ready as well?
As I'm about to go to bed, I'll turn to Jade and kind of like tap her on one of her like dent marks and go, "Hey, you did well." And just go to bed.
As you're doing that, Eartha's kind of casting mending and just. So we're gonna say, for the purpose of this, the way, the vehicle of which Jade regains hit points is by Eartha using mending at night, because Jade cannot receive healing because she's a construct animated armor. So yes, yeah. Next, you also from like the rest of that day, that was about midday on that day as you were leaving. He doesn't talk to you really. He's really playing the long game. He doesn't really have an interesting conversation. He's just waiting for you to get close to someone who he can feel is of that right path. You almost feel like you could use him as like a metal detector for who is a worthy candidate, and he'll be beeping when you're getting close. Yeah. So we'll go through that was like we'll count that as the bit from your 4 and a bit days that you need to do, I think. So we'll do the second day. So we'll just go around for me. So Ellis, can you roll a D100?
Is that with the D10 as well?
Yeah, so there's the percentile, which is like 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, and then the D10.
75.
75. Let's have a look.
I'm hoping that's good, but then again, likelihood of that being good is low.
Okay, let's have a look. 75. Okay. Right. Everyone. Well, actually, we'll just go around. So you all know you have a full day of travel ahead of you, more than a full day, but like, you know, you've got a full day before you are going to set up camp again and get some sleep. Eartha, what do you think? Ellis, what do you think Eartha's kind of doing during the day?
Probably just going over strategies in his head. Probably read a bit of the book about wyverns, learn a bit more about them. Probably just staying focused, taking in the surrounding areas, that kind of a thing.
Yeah. Jackson, what do you think Eartha's Samura is getting?
I'm going to spend the first 3 hours finishing my spell, and then I'm going to spend the next allotted amount of time working on Ellis's shield.
Yep, just take off the cost components. Cool. And Jess, what do you think Anya is kind of doing to kill time during the day?
I think Anya would just be sat on her own, just silently playing something on her violin, some kind of composition, just to kill time.
Yeah, I like that. So, as Samura, as you're kind of working on, you know, as soon as you finish working on your spell for the day, you kind of pack up your spell book and you whip out the stone, set it on the shield, and you ask Eartha for a shield again. You set it all up and you start kind of going over this process, kind of not stressing you out because you enjoy practicing magic, but certainly kind of wearing you out a bit. You've kind of got this nice score of Anya just kind of practicing some the entwining of magic into her music. Very pleasant, jaunty tune as you guys are going along. Eartha, same for you, as you're kind of keeping an eye on the horizon. So we'll say, if that's the case, Eartha, can you make a perception check?
Oh, good number. 22.
22, okay. You know...
Can I...
Yeah.
Sorry, can I just add that once I finish my spell, I want to cast it?
Yeah. So
it's Samura's Bonded Supercharge, in which
you can keep it a secret if you wanna play it out first. Is that? I didn't mean to set you up. I was just checking that I was getting it right.
I'll describe it because they'll see it happen in game, so I'll describe it in game terms for now, and I'll tell them what it does later. So you see Samura walk up to Jade with his hand crackling with electricity, and as he taps Jade on the back, Jade's suit just becomes like charged with this electric, and you just see it like staggering on Jade.
Abba like hops off Jade and like gets the fuck away. Not a fan of that. Yeah, so Jade's kind of like just zapping like literal pillars of lightning just kind of crackling all over her form. but like she can't feel it, and she just kind of sits down again where she'd been sitting, just kind of crackling with energy. We'll say that's cast. Yeah. So what? So you got 22, yes, Urtha.
Yeah.
You see, obviously, no one's cutting this grass. It's like in places the grass is like maybe foot height, but kind of where you're at now, it's kind of approaching knee height. Like this grass isn't being kept. It is nearer to farmsteads, but you haven't passed a farmstead or a cottage in a while, and you just see some light movement in like a bit of the grass close to the road, and then this is kind of to the left of the road. You just see a bit of movement, and then an unrelated bit of movement, like 5 feet, about 10 feet to the left and 5 feet back.
Is there any? Oh, sorry, I don't see this. Never mind.
Yeah.
I want to slam the book closed, put it in the bag of holding, and just grab hold the spear.
Yeah.
And just kind of tell the other two that there's something in the grass on either side.
Okay.
Are you whispering that, or are you like?
Oh no, I want them to know I see them.
Okay, so we'll just go straight. We'll just call that initiative if you're announcing it. So everyone roll initiative. So we'll go around. Urtha, what did you get?
13.
Very nice. Samura
15.
Bitch.
and Anya.
21.
Bigger bitch.
21 up top. Up top. And then so Samura, then Jade, then Abba. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Let me just make sure I've got my stuff correct. Yes, I have. Sorry, my computer is destroying itself trying to load stat blocks. Okay, well, while my computer cries itself to sleep, we'll go ahead and have Anya. It is your turn first. So you didn't see the movement in the grass. You just heard Urtha kind of announce that he had seen movement in the grass.
Okay.
So you have your action, bonus action, movement. Mm-hmm. What would you like to do, if anything? You can choose to ready an action if you like, which is like waiting to see something.
Yeah, I might ready an action just because Anya hasn't technically seen anything yet, so she can't really attack when she can't see anything. So an action.
What circumstances are you? What are you readying? Are you readying one of your weapons or a spell?
I might ready my weapon. I might use my rapier sword. So if once one of the people reveals themselves, I might draw my sword.
Would you like to have it so you attack them if they come close to you, or would you like, as soon as you know where one is, you would go to them?
That they come close to me. That they
no worries.
Come to me.
Yep, cool. So thank you very much. Let me cross that out actually, because that's gonna confuse me. Samura, it is your turn, and then James, and then Hamaz.
Okay, right. I am going to cast. They are. You said they were 5 feet away from each other, weren't they?
10 feet to the right. 10 feet to the left, and 5 feet back.
But like in comparison to each other, how far away are they?
10 feet to the left and 5 feet back.
Okay. That doesn't matter, it's just 10 feet to the left, right? So it works. I'm going to cast Gust of Wind. It has a 10 feet width, so it should be able to hit both.
You didn't see where.
Oh, yeah, I didn't. Right, okay, I'll swap that then. I'm going to go for Enlarge/Reduce then, and I'm going to Enlarge Ellis.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, sure.
I'm going to hope he jumps off.
You don't want to... I've got to wait. There's 2 people before me, Jackson.
You don't have to wait that fast, Ellis, because I am going to spend my movement to jump behind Ellis and just kind of give him a bit of a move, or maybe can I bonus action push him?
Yeah, I'll say if you give up all that, Ellis, would you resist that, or would you allow him to push you off the wagon?
I don't know, because I feel like Eartha probably wouldn't expect.
Well, you could also Samurah could just hold his action until you get off.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll just wait for him to get off. I'll hold it and ready to cast Enlarge on him.
I'm gonna have to change my plan now, Jackson. Go.
So Jackson, do you want to quickly tell us about Enlarge Reduce?
So, Enlarge, Ellis gains a size, so he goes from medium to large. He has advantage on strength checks and saving throws, and his weapon gains an extra 1d4 damage for the duration. Also, he doubles in all dimensions, and his weight is multiplied by 8. So he's heavy.
Very nice. Yeah. So he just it hasn't happened yet, but yes. I almost forgot. So now it is Jade's turn. What would you like Jade to do?
I'm going to keep Jade on the cart, but I'm going to stand behind Jade.
Yep.
So that just Jade's ready in front, and Abba is going to just stick on me.
Cool. Yeah, nice. Then we will move on. Okay. Let's see. Okay, going for just for frame of reference, is everyone happy with where they are on the cart, or because that was from the first day? If you guys can make that out, does anyone think they'd be somewhere different, or
no? Good.
Cool. Everyone cool?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, then. Oh, wow. Okay, Samurah, 21 to hit.
Oh, yes, hits.
Okay. You take 7 damage from an arrow that comes shooting out of the, not even necessarily tall grass, just like again, maybe at a push in patches up to knee height. You just, like, this arrow just kind of sticks in your back, and kind of instinctively you just kind of whack it out, or maybe Jade kind of just grabs it, pulls it out, knowing that you're not necessarily used to getting that kind of physical trauma. Yes, that is.
After getting hit, do I see it?
No.
Okay.
Actually, I'll let you make a perception check versus its stealth check.
Natural 1.
17. So no, you are not aware. You're not even. It's actually not even one of the ones you are. Sorry, I'll let you in. It's not even one of the ones you were aware of. It's not even from a location you were aware of. So it just kind of completely takes you off guard. Yeah. Okay. Next. So to the left of the cart, you'd seen Eartha had seen the 2 rustles of grass, and then Samurah, you'd taken an arrow, presumably from one of those rustles of grass. From the right of the cart, where you hadn't even been looking, you hear like this guttural roar, and you see a bugbear, which is kind of like a furry humanoid. They're not intelligent, but they have intelligence. They're like, they can talk, they can speak. They just, for frame of reference, that's kind of what their whole steez. They're just kind of like a monstery looking caveman, wielding this kind of spiked Morningstar club. Kind of stands from the taller grass to the right of the cart, kind of wielding the club, and does like this guttural roar, and he's gonna appear there, and he's gonna move. Let's see. He's gonna go 5, 10. Okay, he's gonna go to the side of the road, and he's just gonna take a shot at the side of you, Eartha. But you have half cover because you're on the cart, so he has disadvantage on the attack roll. But he does get a. If the bugbear surprises the creature, it doesn't count as a surprise attack because he roared first, so I'll save you from that. But yeah, disadvantage to hit you, Eartha. Okay.
Doesn't Ellis also have that thing which stops him from being surprised?
No, I don't have alert. I want alert. That's the next feat I'm going to take, but I didn't.
I'm so used to you having it.
No, actually, I don't normally have it. I haven't had it in a while.
17 to hit, Eartha.
Jackson, you still have my shield, don't you?
Yes, he does.
Shit. Then yeah, it hits.
Depends on the time.
I don't think he would have it, but it's kind of lying in the back of the cart. I'll say with like an interaction, not even a bonus action. Next turn, you can just grab it, like on your next turn. So you won't necessarily be giving anything up. But yes, so 17 to hit.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you take 9 damage from this Morning Star as this very humanoid caveman-looking creature kind of runs out of the grass, grabs the side of the cart, and pulls himself upward and just kind of smashes you. Doesn't really hit you anywhere vital. Kind of hits you on the back of the armor. Some of it even splinters the cart a bit. Doesn't necessarily take full force at you. A lot of your armor catches it, but you still feel that damage. A melee weapon deals 1 extra die of its damage when the bugbear hits with it included in the attack. So you actually take an extra d8. An extra 3 damage on there from this hit. Lucky I said he roared, which technically he shouldn't have, but he did get the surprise attack, so that was an extra 2d6 damage that you didn't do.
Did I see that one or not?
No, this is from the right.
Oh,
you saw it from the left.
I thought I saw one from the right and one from the left. It doesn't matter.
No, you saw one to the left and then 10 feet to the left of that one and 5 feet back. So
okay.
you kind of know. I'll say Eartha for the frame of reference. The one appearing on the battle map now is kind of like the other ones you saw. Cool. So next up in the initiative is you, Eartha. So we'll say with your interaction, you slip your hand back, grab your shield, and now you've got that to your side.
I'm not gonna use it. I'm just gonna leave it where it is.
Okay.
As my bonus action, I'm gonna cast Divine Favor, which is a concentration spell, and you empower. Your prayer empowers you with Divine Radiance until the spell ends. Your weapon attack deals an extra 1d4 radiant damage on a hit.
Nice.
So that's my bonus action. So my spear is going to do an extra 1d4. I'm going to hop off the cart, but stay.
Enlarge.
Yeah.
So
hop off
as soon
the
as
cart.
you jump off, Anya, Samura, you just see Eartha kind of swell to double the size he was before. Kind of like suddenly becomes like an X-Man giant. He's like grows in front of you, and he kind of the bugbear's like looking up at you.
Yeah, that's right. Bring it, bitch. And then I'm gonna 2-hand the spear and just take like a jab at. Oh shit! Just punched my mic. Gonna take take a jab at it.
Go for it. Yeah, take a jab.
Remember, you get an extra 1d4 from enlarge.
Is that to hit or is that
damage?
Damage. Oh, okay. Well, I got 21 to hit.
21 to hit definitely hits. This guy's wearing like plate armor, and he does. The minifigure doesn't, but the stats have a shield, so he does have a shield.
Uncle Jackson, what'd you say it added?
1d4 damage.
Okay. Nine.
And your radiant damage.
Yeah, it's 9. Rolled a 2.
9 damage total?
Yeah, 2, a 3, and a 4.
Every little helps.
The spear's not as good as my longsword, unfortunately.
Okay.
I have a question.
Is that your turn?
Yeah, but I have a question. Concentration. If I get hit, do I need to make a saving throw?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Just checking.
No worries. Does that require concentration?
Yes, this is a concentration spell.
So does mine, by the way.
Okay, cool.
It's a good thing you waited, Jackson, until after you got hit. I am no longer on the cart. I'm off to the side, and
Oh yes.
I'm a big boy now.
So we don't have a. You can't get them on Hero Forge. You can get sized up minis, but we don't have one. But yeah, imagine. So instead of taking up 1 square, you're kind of taking up. You're not exactly 4 squares. Like you're not that big, but like in terms of the battle map, you would be. You're like double the radius either way. So yes. Anything else?
Nah,
Nothing?
I can't do anything else.
No worries. Then you will see from a little bit behind, about 10 feet away from you guys, or like, actually no, because that's, so actually I'll put you, actually we won't think about it in the whole like, you take up 4 squares, because without the mini, it just makes it hard. So, you see another bit of stir, you kind of feel a bit of stirring behind you as another one appears. Another thing you're not entirely sure of. They look smaller than this bugbear though, so you don't think the other things are a bugbear.
Can I make would it be nature or survival check? Although I think...
Make a survival check with advantage, because I think you would have a pretty good
I think
likelihood.
it's Ellis. Ellis knows what these are, but
yeah.
Eartha doesn't know what these are though.
Actually, to be fair, I'll let you have it. So you know these are, bugbears just kind of being naturally strong. They're not like, compared to like a trained soldier, they're not necessarily like, they're pretty manageable. But like compared to goblins, these things are like super powered. So like goblins tend to flock to them for protection and kind of leadership. So this thing's probably leading a small group of goblins to ambush people.
Can I just say,
yes.
With a +5 to my survival, the highest I got was a 7.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's what did you get, a natural 1?
Yeah, I got a 2 and a natural 1.
Rough go of it.
I was like,
it's my birthday.
I rolled a natural 1 and I was like, yes, this is going to be great. Because advantage, it can't get any worse. And then I rolled a 2. I was like, well, it didn't get much better.
Samura, this other goblin is going to take a shot at you. But this one, if it hits, does have... sorry, no. That I was looking at the bugbear stats. It's going to have... it's just going to take a shot at you. Okay, that's worse. 8 to hit, so this one misses. Another arrow for the opposite, like the literal opposite direction, complete polar opposite, fires towards you, but it's kind of as you're reeling back in pain from the other one, and Jade rips out the arrow, and this one kind of wasn't calculating for that, and it just flies in between you and Jade. Okay, then they're going to stay still. Okay, then. Oh my god, battle maps are hard. Okay, the one furthest to the left is going to. It's gonna run forward. 5, 10. Jess, you can take a stab with your rapier as you've held your action.
Okay.
I'd be so happy if it just dies instantly.
20.
20 hits. Roll that damage.
Okay. Ooh, 3.
3 damage. There we go. You see this. You would see this now. It's a goblin. It's this kind of like 3 to 4 foot tall, yellow greeny skinned humanoid. Looks intelligent in the sense that it is it can communicate. It is like a humanoid, but it looks pretty set on attacking you. And as it kind of runs towards you, like making like little horrible screaming noises, kind of flailing its scimitar in the air, running to you, you just kind of pop over the side and stab it with the rapier. You kind of poke it in the eye, and it's like and kind of falls back into the grass. Just like you get the sense, not a lot of intelligence going on in these things. Yeah, so that's your held action, but now it's actually your turn, Anya. So what would you like to do? Yeah, so there's this goblin now directly in front of you to the left of the cart. There's the one kind of 5 feet diagonally to the left behind that one, and Itha's dealing with a bugbear on the other side, and there's another archer on that other side.
I would actually like to enhance someone's ability.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to enhance Samu Ra's. I'm going to actually ask Jackson what he wants because there's different ones. There's a
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult. I'm just pulling it up because I don't think on the card, I don't think it tells you what the actual ones do, does it?
No, but I think I've read them before, so I think I kind of know what they do. There's Bear's Endurance, Bull's Strength, Cat's Grace, Fox's Cunning, or Owl's Wisdom. So basically, you touch a creature and bestow upon it a magical enhancement. Choose one of the following effect. The target gains that effect until the spell ends.
So I've got them here. I'm okay with this because you guys have been on the road for a while. So I kind of imagine in the background while you've been traveling, you've maybe talked a bit of battle strategy, went over what you guys have. So Anya would know what Samu Ra would want her to cast. So Bear's Endurance, the target has advantage on Constitution checks. It also gains 2d6 temporary hit points, which are lost when the spell ends. Bull's Strength, the target has advantage on strength checks, and his or her carrying capacity doubles. Cat's Grace, the target has advantage on dexterity checks. It also doesn't take damage from falling 20 feet or less if it isn't incapacitated. Eagle's Splendor, the target has advantage on charisma checks. Fox's Cunning, the target has advantage on intelligence checks. Owl's Wisdom, the target has advantage on wisdom checks. So, Jackson, which one do you think Samu Ra would prefer?
I think he would want the first d6 plus advantage on constitution checks.
You'd like Bear's Endurance?
Yeah.
Cool. So, Anya, you kind of like, now after you've just taken a stab at this goblin, you reach to the left, and Samu Ra's right there. Jade's just pulled an arrow out of his kind of shoulder, and you kind of touch your hand to the other shoulder and whisper the incantation, almost in like this, almost not like you're not singing, but almost in this melodic way, almost like you're reading this magical poem in your mind, and some of the words fall through, and Samu Ra, you kind of feel kind of like almost like the spirit of a bear, kind of you feel like you could take some hits, so you have advantage on constitution checks and 2d6 temporary hit points, so whoever wants to roll those can roll those.
I did them just out of presumability.
So you've got those temporary hit points. They end when the spell ends. Is this a concentration? This is a concentration. So Jess, if you cast, is it Jackson? Keep me right. Is it if she casts another spell, or if she takes damage, she has to make a concentration check to see if she maintains it?
It is if she takes damage, any sort of like falling unconscious, and if she casts another spell with concentration. She can cast any other spell.
I see. Okay, that's much better. So yeah. Okay, cool. Good turn. Anything else? Do you want to move at all or anything, Anya?
I'll move. I don't know how to explain it. So kind of behind Samu Ra, like off the cart.
If you try to move past the god, like if you try to move, actually no, because that's still you can do that. So in between almost those two other goblins. Yep. So you want to go here.
I'm feeling brave.
There we go. Very good. Cool. Thank you very much. Next is... So yeah, Anya, you kind of vault over the side. If you move away from an enemy, they get an attack of opportunity, but because you didn't move a space away, you didn't provoke that. So you move kind of in between. You've now, I'll say, now that you're this close, you've clocked this other goblin. You're not unaware it's there. Samu Ra, it's your turn again.
I am going to... Ellis is about... How tall is Ufa? I basically want to fly exactly 30 feet above him.
I think he's about 8 or 9 feet, based on the spell.
Okay, I want to fly like exactly 30 feet above him. so that
Okay.
I'm still within range for the spell. Then I am going to cast... at this height, obviously, because now I'm looking down on the grass, can I see the goblins?
Oh, I just ruined everything. Yes, you can. You can see the bugbear in melee with you can see. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have anything to make you fly. Why am I being deaf? Yeah, so you can see the bugbear. You can see the one goblin on the same side of the road as the bugbear, kind of slightly behind, and you can see Anya, with these two other goblins. That is all you see. You don't see any more.
Okay. I am going to cast Scorching Ray, in which I create like 3 rays of fire, which I can shoot at individual targets. So I'll roll to hit.
Cool.
That is... Oh, what is my to hit? I haven't done this in a while. Plus 17 to hit on the bugbear.
On the bugbear. Just hits, yes.
That is 21 on just the goblin on Ellis's side.
Sorry, well, to hit, yes. 21 hits.
And over 20 again to hit the one Jess just stabbed in the eye.
Yes.
Right.
All hit.
That's 2d6. So the bugbear takes 6 damage. The other goblin on Ellis's side takes 12 damage. And the one Jess just stabbed in the eye takes 5 damage.
Okay, cool. So Samura, you kind of run forward a bit, kind of put one of your talons or feet on the side of the cart, and you just fly off into the air, your wings beating up as you go about 30 feet above Eartha. And you kind of like looking down, you scan the environment to make sure you know how many you're facing. You kind of say the incantation, do the somatic components, and you fire 3 rays of fire towards the ground. One hits the bugbear, and kind of the flames ignite the fur, and he's like, slapping out the flames as he's kind of blocking hits from this enlarged Eartha. Eartha's probably now the same height as the bugbear. The bugbear was kind of looking down before. Now he's maybe looking up slightly at Eartha, not like a ton, but a little bit. And 2 go for the two of the goblins. One that Jess had stabbed and is kind of still holding its eye and like, rah, 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 and maybe says the odd word in common, like, ow, come on, and like just like rambling as he's like trying to find his weapon he's maybe dropped in the grass. You see the ray of fire hits that one, and just his entire body just turns to charcoal as he falls to the ground, dead. And the other ray of fire hits the one next to, not next to, but close to Eartha, and that one also, similar thing. It's kind of getting ready another arrow shot. This time you can kind of see it, kind of not able to get Anya. Actually, it's probably aiming right up at the sky at you, and you kind of like, it fires the arrow, and you fire the ray of fire, and on the way down to the goblin, it destroys the arrow coming towards you, and your fire just hits this goblin and destroys it also. Yeah. 2 goblins down.
Then I'll send Jade after the bugbear. Just make her just go straight towards the bugbear, but try and angle it so it's within 5 feet of Ellis and the bugbear.
Do you want him to hop off the back?
Yeah, just whichever way
10,
is faster for Jade to get to Ellis.
20, like there?
Let me quickly check Jade's movement. Jade is 25 feet. Yeah, if that leaves just as close as I can get Jade to Ellis and the bugbear.
Do you want it to be closer to the bugbear?
I want it to be within punching range for both. So like try and get within 5 feet of both if she can.
5,
I just don't know
10,
if she can.
15, 20, 25. Yeah, she can get right there.
Okay, she's gonna try and slap shit into the bugbear. That is a 21 to hit. And a 23 to hit. This is my day.
Both do hit.
So that is... The first one deals... $14, and then the second hit deals 10 damage.
24 damage total?
No, 12 damage, sorry. 12 damage on the
22
second
damage
one,
total?
sorry. Yes.
Cool. So Jade hops off the back of the cart and kind of runs past Eartha, kind of taking a few diagonals, kind of really making short work of it. And just as she kind of like, I know it says slam, but I don't really like the slamming. Jade doesn't have a weapon. She just kind of runs up to the bugbear and just like Apollo Creed, like a kind of two big punches. And the bugbear, you feel like you hear, even you, Samurah, from like up in the sky, 30 feet up, you like hear the bone crunching on the first impact of Jade's fist. And on the second one, he's already dead. Oh, yes, of course. So yeah. So was that with the electricity damage?
Yes, it was.
So, yeah, Jade's like lightning still crackling off Jade from earlier. The first punch, you can hear the bone crunching, and it chars some of the fur where the fist impacted, and the bugbear like jolts for a minute. And with the second one, like across the face, you can see like electricity kind of coursing through. You can almost see like some of the outline of its skeleton as like the inside of its body kind of lights up orange for brief moments, and it just kind of slams against the side of the cart. And it doesn't even fall to the ground because like the chin and the arm kind of get caught on the side of the cart, and then the club kind of falls to the ground as it can't maintain grip. Actually, no, it keeps the club in its like dead hand because the lightning like clams it up, and it's gripping very tightly. Yes, so that is the bugbear also finito.
Then
yep,
Abba is going to. He's within 10 feet of Jess, isn't he? And he's a tiny bit elevated.
I think you said you were keeping him with you.
Ah, yeah, he's on me. Never mind.
No worries. So next is. Just making sure I've done this right. Yes. Okay. This goblin who has lost his whole party is going to bonus action disengage, because it has the nimble escape feature. This goblin can take the disengage or hide action as a bonus action on each of its turns. It's going to disengage, so Anya doesn't get an attack of opportunity, and is going to run that way. 5, 10, 15, 20. You guys can't see him on the map anymore. He gets to... What's his movement? 30 feet. So he's 30 feet away from you, Anya. You can either let it keep running away. He's like just running away, or you can choose to finish this off. Anya, Eartha, it's your turn. So the Jade with like lightning punches has taken out the bugbear, and you just hear this wailing goblin running in the opposite direction.
He's within 60 feet, right?
5, 10, 15. Yes, he's 45 feet.
Perfect. I'm going to throw the spear.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Roll to hit.
He's only gone and got a natural 20.
Double dice damage.
So, when it's double dice damage, does that double dice damage for enlargement and the blessing?
It's all...
Isn't it all roll damage doubled?
I think technically it's double weapon damage. Yeah, just do that for now, and I'll double check afterwards, because you're going to kill it in one hit.
Unless he rolls 4 ones.
And the d4s. $18 damage.
How much, sorry?
18.
It's
just a giant spear as well.
Yeah. So I won't give you disadvantage because you have movement and a bonus action. So you kind of like pull yourself up the side of the cart next to the...
Would I not be
bugbear.
towering over it with like how big I was?
Oh, sorry. Yes, you're enlarged. I keep forgetting because we don't have the enlarged mini. You kind of just look to the left and just... You see this goblin, the grass kind of shaking. You can very clearly see where it is, and kind of its two tiny hands like as it's running away. And you just kind of chuck the spear up in the air once. Was it a javelin or a spear?
It's a spear.
So yeah, you chuck the spear up in the air, catch it, flip it around, and just kind of Olympic vault that, and you just like you see like you hear them, and like you hear like you see like the arms kind of the hands stop for a second, and then just as the grass gets flat in a spot. That was very clinical. You guys did that very military, like very good. Yeah, good account.
Almost like we got a strategy man on the team.
I would like to go retrieve my spear.
Yeah, cool. Are you guys doing anything else, or are you like leaving? Are you leaving the bodies where they are? Are you doing anything, or are you just moving on?
I'll drag them to the side and search them.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, we'll say you guys just kind of line the four of them up on the side of the road. The goblins are very light; they kind of weigh as much as like a toddler. So you can pretty easily just lob them to the side of the road. And the bugbear, you can pretty much leave where he is, as he's on the side of the road. You just need to unhook him from the cart and drag them a bit. So yeah, you kind of lie them all together. We'll say just for like, so you don't have to separate anything out. I'll just say you each find about 7 silver. Like each looking through, like ruffling through all their pockets. Each goblin has a scimitar and a short bow, and the bugbear has his morning star and 2 javelins, if anyone's interested in those. But one javelin and 1 morning star. So that total, lying around, there's 3 scimitars, 3 short bows, a morning star, and a javelin. You can take. Oh, sorry. There's also like the goblins. Yeah, the goblins and the bugbear all have kind of hastily made, not very good crafted, like wooden shields. So there's like 4 wooden shields, a javelin, some scimitars, some short bows, and a morning star. Is anyone taking anything?
I'm taking all of it.
Cool, you're just shoving it all in the bag I'm holding? Yeah. So just jot down. Yeah, just jot down
So
that.
do something.
Yeah.
Can I go to is it the bugbear? The bugbear?
Bugbear, yeah.
Bugbear, could I collect some more fur?
Yeah, you just kind of like take out your dagger and you kind of run it along the skin, like you're almost like you're checking a dog for ticks. You're just like running that along, and some of the hair's falling out naturally, and you kind of rub that all together, kind of get it nice and congealed in some of like the weather's kind of warming a bit, not much, but you're like enough where after you've just done a nice workout like that, you're sweating a bit, so it all kind of sticks together, and you get it in like a nice lump, and you kind of put it away in a pouch, so you've got that for some spell casting. Rub the remnants off on your trousers. Anyone else like to do anything?
Can I,
I'll let Jackson go first.
As Ellis picks up all the weapons and shoves them in the bag, I want to land next to him and pick out his dagger, which is in his pack, and hand it to him and point at the goblin ears.
Okay, yeah.
You want the ears, buddy?
They sell for gold, don't they?
If there's a bounty on them.
Why not?
Right, okay, we're taking the ears.
Surely be a local town which will give us some money.
Possibly. Could be. Well, we'll find out.
If the local town doesn't accept money, we'll throw them in the well.
Also, I don't know how I'm going to be able to find one, but would I be able to search the grass for a cricket?
Yeah, sure. Make a survival check. Would anyone like to help her?
Yeah, I'll try and
ears,
use
so...
my.
Oh yeah. So Samara, you can kind of like fly up a bit.
Yeah,
you have advantage. So you roll twice and take the higher because
okay.
Jackson's helping you.
Oh, that wasn't any better. Wait, is that 6 or 9? 9. Okay, 10.
10. It's not particularly hard. You can get. I'll say you can. You kind of like you and Samura think you've kind of tracked one down from like the noise, like the cricketing sound, and you kind of start to circle it, and Samura kind of like flinches suddenly, and you see it hop, and you just kind of cup to the ground, and you grab it, and you can feel it hopping against like the inside of your hands.
New pet.
Yeah, I'll kind of like, try and circle my hand so it can't get out, and I'll walk towards Anya and like, hey, what do you want us to do with it?
I have a vial if you want to put it in that. Although I
Be helpful, please.
don't quite know what you want to do with the little?
I'll
I think
take
it's
it.
probably a spellcasting
spell.
component. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you take one of Eartha's vials and you kind of shove the cricket in, and
Squash it in
would,
there.
yeah, you know the cricket. It's probably more kind killing it before you use it for a spell, then rather than waiting. So you probably just kind of give it a little squish so it dies before you crush it, and you kind of shove the rest of it in and pop the cork in so it doesn't rot immediately or anything. Yes, you now have a cricket for any of your spellcasting needs. Good catch. Yeah. So, does anyone have anything else?
Yeah, I've got two
Oh,
things.
you're on ear duty.
Yeah, ear duty, and I've got something else I would like to ask the group, but that can wait till after the ear thing. Survival, right?
I'll say make 3 survival checks. Are you going for the bugbear as well, or just the goblins?
I don't know. I'll ask Samurai what he wants to do. Do you want these ears too, buddy? Or
I've never heard of someone paying for proof of a dead bugbear. Only the goblins.
I mean, to be fair, a bugbear's probably gonna be worth more than a goblin.
Oh,
Well, if you think it's smart, then yeah, grab them.
Sure, I'll grab each left ear.
Cool. We'll do the bugbear first. So just make a straight survival check.
Can I use the one I rolled before?
Yeah. Sorry, if you want to do
That's a straight survival.
Yeah.
24.
24. Yeah. So you get like you think you get a pretty good cut on the left ear. You manage to stop the bleed. Like you cut it in just the right place where you get like a lot of skin, a lot of flesh, so it's not like gushing blood or anything. It's not going to like sag up the bag of holding. You kind of, like a mixture of all of you kind of cauterize any bit of bloodying. Just make 3 more quick ones and we'll see if you get any goblin ears.
22. 22. 22.
Wow. Okay, yeah.
I rolled 3 17s in a row. I am...
You get a bugbear's left ear and 3 left ears of goblins. You think, usually when you've heard about this, it's like, you have heard stuff like this, often, like, towns, usually either, like, government representatives of the town or, like, tavern owners might have, not necessarily bounties, but, like, kind of something like bounties, like, they'll pay you, or they'll give you, like, a free drink or a free meal if you hand over some wolf ears or some goblin ears, something to prove that you've kind of cleaned up the local environment a bit. And it's kind of incentive to maybe, if you're staying in the town and you want a free drink, you might kind of go and clear out a pack of wolves that's annoying some farmers in the area, just kind of something like that. So you think if there's any nearby town you might come across, as long as like the ears don't start rotting to signify like, oh, these are really old, these aren't from around here, you think, yeah, they'll be pretty fine. Also, you're not sure if stuff rots in the bag of holding. You're not entirely sure about that.
I mean, I'm going to put them in anyway, just to find out.
Yeah.
The other thing, I would like to ask Anya to drive for at least 10 minutes whilst I sit in the back and cast a Prayer of Healing to heal us just in case something else happens on the way.
Cool. Yeah, cool.
Might as well play the cleric.
Anya, you take over the Jackson's nagging's finally got to you. Anya, you take the metaphorical wheel, you take the reins, and oh my god, my voice is cracking so much today. You take the reins, and Eartha, you kind of sit in the back, muttering your prayer to the Red Knight. And 10 minutes later, you all feel like this divine, like, deep breath as you all, this kind of like samurai, that arrow wound on your shoulder kind of patches over, and even some like light feathers poke through the skin.
21, Jackson. You heal 21. I'm also really worried now because I just rolled 2 7s. Rolled 2 7s, and then my modifiers are +7, and I rolled 3 17s just before, so I feel like the number 7's quite a common
it's a 7
factor
kind
here.
of day. Yeah, 7 day.
Don't like that.
One question: the 11 temporary health I rolled off the bears and Jess, how long does the spell last?
I think it was up to an hour.
Enhanceability.
So, yeah.
Hang on, I'll double.
Should be in one of the boxes at the top of the spell card.
Yeah, up to 1 hour.
So it's probably like wearing off.
But it also doesn't heal temporary hit points. But yes, it wears off. That was your encounter for the day, but Ellis obviously will get his spell slot back. So just thematically, he does the prayer of healing because your characters don't know that nothing else will happen. So you guys go to camp that night. Same thing as when we saw you at camp when the drow attacked. Just, every night you set up your tents, set up a campfire, keep warm for a bit. You all head off to bed. You guys can dictate to me any differently if we move on and you were like, oh no, I wanted to do this at camp that night or whatever. Feel free. But for now, we'll say next day. Jackson, can you roll a D100 percentile and D10, please?
This is I don't enjoy this. Oh, 88.
88. Fuck.
So like the one good thing left, or have I just rolled a dragon? Because he wouldn't react like that for another double jump.
You're very close. The day passes uneventfully. I thought it was something else, but you're very, very close.
That would have been a magic item. I'm hoping.
Okay, so this day,
No.
quite mundane. Just nothing.
Can I work on
No exciting. Yes,
Ellis's shield
you
again?
work on the shield. You kind of keep going. The stone that speaks, giving you, or Wade, as you've dubbed him, giving you some kind of light advice. He's not particularly helpful. You're starting to get more of a sense of the frustration, as that he knows the end result of spells, but he's kind of forgotten how to get there. But you can also kind of feel you're not teaching him because he already knows the stuff, but you're helping him remember quite a lot of the process of spell casting, which obviously he hasn't done in a long, long time. Same again, you guys set up camp at a suitable spot. You can stop me if anyone wants to do anything at camp or talk, have a conversation about anything. So, Anya, Jess, can you roll a D100 for the third day?
Okay. 33.
33. Oh, interesting.
I don't like the silence.
All
Long
die.
pause is really unnerving.
It's because my computer is terrible. So trying to scroll down on a Word document, it's like, how dare you ask me to run a Word document? How dare you? And I'm like, we're in the middle of a D&D game. I need your help, bud. It's all that for the day passes uneventfully. Again, set up camp. You guys are kind of falling into a routine now. You've had 2 days of nice travel. Again, I don't want to give the impression that it's been warm. It hasn't been warm, but it's certainly been pleasant. You can kind of take your jackets off. You can kind of let yourself breathe a bit. You can expose your arms a bit more. Maybe roll up some of your trousers if your legs are getting hot while you're riding the horses. And again, at night, just for the story, I won't make you guys keep track of this, but you're feeding the horses. You have some apples and some trail mix and stuff for the horses, some hay for them to munch on, and we'll just assume you're restocking that when you're in civilized places, or your stable master when you, as part of your price for stabling, will give you some assistance with that.
Jen?
So, yeah.
Are we on the day 4 of our journey or day 3?
You will be so when you wake up the next morning, you will. This is the final. You will be getting to Boruskia Bridge at about 8 p.m. today.
Okay.
But that is one more random encounter. So actually, by this point, you've probably come to the end of Thundar's ride. So instead of this road you've been on wasn't it wasn't exactly cross country. It was a dirt road. It wasn't paved with cobbles or anything, but it's pretty not well traveled, but it hasn't fallen out of disuse. So the road has been fairly easy to traverse. Not in terms of ambush, you've been waylaid on the way to where you are now, but now you're actually a few hours into this day, you pull on to the actual main road that goes down from the city of Elturel along the river Chianthar, which is the same river Baldur's Gate sits along, all the way up to Waterdeep, which is obviously a few hundred miles, but the road runs all the way up there. And yeah, you again reiterate the choice that you can either go right at this junction now, like getting the car off this dirt road onto this cobbled road. Your horse is kind of liking the cobbles a lot more than the off the cross country esque terrain. And right is Subar. You can probably not quite. You can't make out detail, but you can probably see Subar right off in the distance. It doesn't look huge at all. In fact, you would probably know a lot of the places that aren't cities along this particular main road. A lot of the places that are like towns and villages. In the winter, they are quite small because a lot of their population is caravan based. So a lot of merchant caravans and traveling caravans set up outside the city wall, not the city walls, the town walls, and the town expands quite a lot in spring and summer. But in fall and in winter, these places shrivel right up because there's no people traveling because it's the environment's a lot more hostile. Actually, but you do see. I won't let you make out any more detail. Actually, for the sake of this, I'll say Ellis. Just because of who your character is, you can make a perception check. But you can see Subar seems to have one large building. We'll see if Eartha's able to tell what it is.
37.
Oh, fuck, okay. Yeah, well, yeah, sure, I guess you get it.
I mean, let's be honest, the lowest I can roll is 20.
No, well, okay, big up. You see it's made of dark stone, like black stone, almost jet black stone. It doesn't look like richly affirmed or anything, but like it looks like black rock. It looks to be like a cathedral or an abbey, and that's really the only building of note you can see. You are at a distance, so maybe if you got closer, you'd be able to see some more stuff. But everything else just looks to be small housing. And then there's kind of this. Subar looks to be, if you're way off in the distance, but you can just kind of make it out way down. This small walled town. You can't really make out much of the buildings, but the ones you can just look small, more like hovels and small residential houses. And then in the kind of just towering above that is this black cathedral or abbey, some religious building. You could recognize it as a religious building. Yeah. So you guys do not go right for now. You decide to go left. At which point, yeah, traveling north now. Waterdeep way, but Waterdeep is hundreds of miles away, but towards Waterdeep. In terms of the road, you keep going. Oh, sorry. Wait. Yeah, sorry. We haven't done the encounter for today. Eartha, it's your role for today.
Can I say also, just while all this has been happening, when I grabbed Eartha's shield off him today, I also asked for 35 gold.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's gone up in price, buddy. You said 30 earlier on today.
Yeah, well, sorry, my maths wasn't perfect.
Tough stock market. The economy.
I need to make a profit.
There you go. I'll give you 35 gold.
Cool.
Also, Earth has a new
Cheerio.
A new kind of goal. Seeing he has the bag of holding, his aim is to buy at least one of every single weapon he can. So he just has a full arsenal in the bag of holding.
Oh, so like no matter what the circumstance, he's got like a Swiss Army knife that he can like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just a bag of weapons. You can feel
Also,
free to add stuff too, you know. But
Yeah, Jackson.
Once I'm finished with the shield today, if I've managed to do it before the encounter, I will make sure to give him it back.
Yeah.
Please
Okay.
do.
Well, I'll say yes. Just because we already caught you on that one. I've already taken his sword and his shield once, so I'm not going to keep taking it. Okay.
56.
What was your roll? 56.
yeah.
Okay.
Party's dead.
Dragon
Oh my
appears.
god, I don't know how you did. Okay. Don't know how you did that.
I hate it when he does this.
Okay. Itha, make a perception check.
It's more bugbear.
31.
31. We'll assume for the purposes of this, you've got the reins. You're not really doing anything. You're just kind of holding the reins, making sure the horses don't like they're not stirring. And you just feel like this glint of sunlight. You know when something like a sunlight hits something shiny and like it kind of catches your eye. You don't see anything. You just you keep catching that glint of sunlight a little ways off the road, maybe about 20-30 feet off the road to the left.
Can I stop the car and get like a closer look?
Yeah, sure. Make a investigation check with advantage because of the glinting.
Oh shit! I have plus. Okay, I have a 3 plus a 5 on top of that. 20.
Okay. Roll a D100.
This could be good. This could be bad.
It's a magic item.
It's a 92.
92. You fucking with me.
That's a good. That sounds good.
Based off memory, I think this is 2 tiers of magic item above the dominate scroll you found. So, okay. Okay.
The thing is, depending on what this is, it could, if it's not like a spell scroll and it's just a genuine item, we can use it now.
Oh, I know. I am fully aware of this, Jackson.
Yeah. Imagine if you get a sword.
I mean, I
Holy
do
shit.
need a sword.
This magic item table is actually a D100. So, Ellis, I'm going to have you roll a D100 again, unless it's something that I think is very boring, and then I'll step in.
82.
82.
It's like in the 2s by the sounds of it.
7 and 2.
It's not terrible, it's just not particularly... Okay, tell you what, I'm going to roll a D100, just because I appreciate I'm metagaming a bit, but I also don't want to give you something useless to you, because it should be a reward.
Well, mate.
Okay, I have no idea what... Oh, oh, whoa, this is weird.
Don't like that.
Okay. Let me just check that this is the one I think it is. Itha, while I'm checking this, can you describe what you are? If this is what I think it is, it's super weird, and one of you will see why in a minute. But Itha, can you kind of describe how you're? Like, is he brashly walking up to it, or is he maybe a bit suspicious?
He's probably a bit suspicious after being attacked a couple of days ago. So he's probably going with like shield drawn just in case.
Then in that case, I actually think this is so crazy. Okay.
Why do I feel like...
Oh my god, it actually is. Okay, wow. Okay, cool. You, as you approach, kind of spear drawn as well.
Yeah.
So like your spear and sword, like Anya and Samura are kind of like Dad's gotten out of the car on a road trip, and the kids are kind of looking from the car, like, what's he doing? They're kind of just watching you wandering into the grass, and you kind of, with your spear, you poke where you see the glinting, and kind of turning it over, you see this this kind of small stone, this kind of jagged purple stone. It's not jagged in the sense it's rough. Kind of imagine like, I'm literally picturing like kind of what I'm picturing is, this is pretty much only for you, I think, Ellis. In Skyrim, I think it's in the Dawnguard DLC, when you go to the where the snow elves lived, you need those like kind of eye-shaped diamonds.
Yeah.
Imagine one of those, but like small. It's like you are like surprised you even caught the glint of this. It's like a purple, jaggedly. It looks crafted because it's like it's almost circular, but it's kind of got little points on either end, and it's this purple rock. you think it's like an amethyst, but it's kind of got this. When you look into it, it kind of like you can almost see like stars in there. Like it looks like a lens into a universe. Like this thing is beautiful. You can't even give it a monetary value based on assuming like, is this an amethyst? Is this like some sort of purple jewel? Because it looks to almost transcend what you know a jewel to be.
Oh.
As you like pick it up and you're looking into it.
Can I take it back with me to the car and just ask what the others think of it?
Yeah, so Eartha returns and he kind of holds up this little purple jewel. Anya and Samurai, you can kind of peer into it and you see this thing as well. Again, it's probably about as big as an eyeball, but imagine like not necessarily like the actual eyeball. Imagine what you can see, like that eye shape, but kind of less, kind of slightly pointed at either end, almost like some sort of Christmas bauble, but much smaller. And he's kind of just holding it in front of you. And as you gaze into it, the jagged kind of cuts on the jewel at the side kind of give it almost this natural look. But as you look, you can kind of see marks of a crafter. But inside, it's just beautiful. There's almost like little tiny pockets of space that make it look like space, like little pockets of air that look like stars. And as the light hits it, you see that same glint that Eartha saw. And yeah.
I'm going to reach out to grab it, and I'm going to cast Identify.
Yeah, how long does Identify take?
A minute.
Whilst he's doing that, I'm just going to go back to the front of the car and just get it going again.
So you get back going, and Samurai kind of sits, kind of like kid position, like butt on the ground, legs arched, kind of two hands together as he's kind of like peering into it, his advanced Aarakocra eyes looking into it as he's casting Identify with one hand and kind of flicking it around. So Jackson, this is something we talked about fairly recently. I promise.
I know what it is.
Yeah, so this is a Ioun stone. So I'll just read the information on it. An Ioun stone is named after Ioun, a god of knowledge and prophecy revered on some worlds. Many types of Ioun stone exist, each type a distinct combination of shape and color. When you use an action to toss one of these stones into the air, the stone orbits your head at a distance of 1d3 feet and confers a benefit to you. Thereafter, another creature must use an action to grasp or net the stone to separate it from you, either by making a successful attack roll against it, it has an AC 24, or a successful DC 24 acrobatics check. You can use an action to seize and stow the stone, ending its effect. A stone has AC 24, 10 hit points, and resistance to all damage. It is considered to be an object that is being worn while it orbits your head. So when you toss it up to the air, it just starts orbiting your head like a planet around the sun. This one in particular is the exact one we were talking about, Jackson. So there are multiple types. There are insight, intellect, leadership, mastery, protection, to name a few. But this one is reserve. This vibrant purple prism stores spells cast into it, holding them until you use them. The stone can store up to 3 levels worth of spells at a time. When found, it contains 1d4 minus 1 levels of stored spells chosen by the GM. Okay, I can have some fun with that. Any creature can cast a spell of 1st through 3rd level into the stone by touching it as the spell is cast. The spell has no effect other than to be stored in the stone. If the stone can't hold the spell is expended without effect. The level of the slot you use to cast the spell determines how much spaces it uses. While the stone orbits your head, you can cast any spell stored into it. The spell uses the slot level, spell save DC, spell attack bonus, and spell casting ability of the original caster, but is otherwise treated as if you cast the spell. The spell cast from the stone is no longer stored in it, freeing up space. So you could put 3 level 1 spells in it, 1 level 3, 1 level 2, and 1 level 1. Like Samurai could pump them in and then give it to Eartha, and Eartha could use it to cast the spell as though Samurai had just cast it, using all the Samurai stats, as an example. So yeah, Jackson, that is the exact one I was telling you about, and I promise I didn't even fudge that. That is just the number, that's how the numbers work. Yeah.
Yeah, just get to me when you figured out the spells.
Yeah, so let's have 2 seconds. I'm just going to grab my player's handbook.
Ellis, if this doesn't have what I want in it, I will put Misty Step and most likely chromatic orb and give it to you so you can get in and out of combat. Yeah, I don't need it. I've got spells.
I've got spells. We've all got spells.
No, but
Yeah, do you
this
have
is
Misty
arcane
Step?
spell. These are spells that you cannot cast. These are wizard spells. So it is as if these spells are stored in the jewel, and you choose when they are released. So, like, Samurai can cast a spell into it, go to sleep, he gets his spell slot back. It's still in the jewel, and you can unleash it as though Samurai's just cast it using all of Samurai's wizard stats.
Basically,
I
I can give you Misty Step to get out of the way.
What level's Misty Step? First level, isn't it?
Level 2. It's level 2 and it's a bonus action.
I can't believe, I actually after last time, I was like, maybe my encounter table wasn't quite fair. So but since you'd already used quite a lot of the good ones, I put one possible, like, positive in terms of treasure encounter, and I can't believe you fucking landed on it. Again, you guys are so goddamn lucky with these rolls. Okay. The stone constructed, when found, it contains 1d4 minus 1 level of stored spells. Okay, it contains 3. I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna use wizard because that has the most diverse spell list.
And they all have to be level 1, obviously.
Or one level 2 and one level 1, or a level 3.
No, because
right?
it's got 3 spells in. So to make that equal to 3 spell slots, it has to be 3 level 1s.
No. When found, it contains 1d4 minus 1 levels of stored spells. So it
I thought it just was spells.
It could still have a mix. Actually, you know what? I'll leave this. I'll pick the spells. But I'll leave this up to you guys. What would you prefer? Would you prefer 3 level 1s, a level 2 and a level 1, or a level 3? I think you guys can discuss that.
I think we take the level 3.
I mean,
that is just out of your reach, so yes.
Well, what's Jess thinking? But I'm with Jackson.
I know you guys know more than me, so I'm kind of just letting you guys decide because.
If we're speaking on wizard spells, level 3s are like level 3's a big gap from level 2. Like, they're a lot stronger.
Well, looks like it's 3 it is then.
Okay. I'm just gonna be just for the person in me who loves stories. Samurai, as you gazed into it, you're still, almost without you noticing, you're still kind of fondling the stone that speaks. You feel like you've almost become like, whenever you're not doing something else, you've just kind of found yourself holding it. And not necessarily having conversations, but just exchanging feelings with the stone. And you both realize the spell that's in here at the same time. It's nothing huge, but it means something more to you. And he says it. You hear the stone that speaks say the voice, just a sneer as he feels the significance it has to you, and he says, "Sending." So, Samurai, you're kind of looking into the jewel, and you realize the only spell currently stored in there is a 3rd level spell called Sending, which means you can communicate 25 words to any creature on any plane of existence that you are familiar with. If it's on another plane of existence, there's a chance the spell might get lost. But yeah, you're looking into it. And they have 25 words to reply to you. It's the spell that Rivlin used to communicate with you last session, a few days ago in game terms. So you're staring into this. Eartha and Anya are kind of like idling around, waiting for you to tell them like exactly what it is, and you're just kind of like, you just hear the stone that speaks say, "Sending them."
I'm gonna turn to the other two, tell them what it is, and tell them the spell it's got inside.
Well, isn't that perfect then?
It's just, who wants to use it?
I mean, you're the one who needs it most. Hence why it's perfect.
I thought I'd ask before I just used it.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice to know what's in it. But it's kind of useless to me at the moment.
I'm gonna walk to the back of the cart and like standing on the edge of the back. Probably is a little bit closer to the edge than a normal person, but my claws digging in.
Hey, don't break the card.
And I'll cast just like a grapple hook, like, you know, just like grabbing.
Even cooler than that, you guys watch Samurai kind of pace to the back of the cart, and his talons or feet kind of dig into the wood, and he's kind of holding the iron stone in one hand, and he just tosses it up into the air, and as it kind of hits the level of his head, it just kind of bobs and floating in place and starts just slowly orbiting his head like planets revolve around the sun, just slowly making that trail around his head. And Samurai, as it's now trailing around your head, you feel yourself able to cast the spell.
I'm gonna cast sending.
Do I need to cast sending to?
To Icky.
Okay. You have 25 words. I'll try and keep track as well.
Right.
I won't count that.
Yeah. Thank you. Hello, Icky. I am going... I don't know how to say it. Suba,
yeah.
Suba. Now. Safe. How's you?
Text it.
Yeah, I'm really trying to conserve words. Please respond. Samura.
That's 15, I think.
You got 10 more, buddy.
Oh, I got 10 more. Where are you going to exactly, and why? That's it. Let's just end it there.
You feel, you know when you send like a message and the little thing comes up saying delivered? You feel like that, like you feel the message received. And we'll pick up there next week.
By any chance, is she a magician by any chance?
Who?
Icky, is she some form of wizard spellcaster?
No.
Does she know anything about magic?
No, she's an Arakroakran who was brought up by the tribes. She doesn't really know civilized life.
She's like a
ranger.
Nomad ranger. So she's like probably capable of some lower level magic.
I was gonna say, so she's probably just gone and shot herself with some random, well, not random, someone just randomly speaking in her ear. Well, she has no...
But she recognizes it's me if she has an intelligence of 1 or above.
Does she?